Welcome, dear aspirants, to this lecture video series on CLAT for CLAT aspirants. My name is Dr. Animesh, and I am here to help you all with law of crimes. And this is our second lecture in this first module. And today we are going to discuss some basics of laws of crime. In the last video, we discussed about basics of law, in which we discussed how laws work, why the laws are there, what's the utility and purpose of legislations and all. Today, we are going to discuss criminal law. Now, as the name suggests, criminal law deals with crime and punishment. Obviously, some people have committed a crime, and how they are to be punished, what constitutes a crime, is all the subject matter of criminal law. We all have seen criminal law in operation. हम सब ने फिल्में देखी, हमने वेब सीरीज देखी है, हमें पता है कि क्राइम क्या होता है. Now, all we are going to learn today is what's the legal definition of it, how it functions, what's the legal aspect of crime. We all understand crime in a very generic sense. हमको पता है crime किसी का murder हो गया, डकैती हो गई, rape हो गई. We all understand it, but we have to understand the legal complications of the same. Okay, beginning with it, first is meaning of criminal law. Now, what is criminal law? Now, criminal law is a very special kind of law. It's special. Why it's so? Because it talks about duty of a citizen. Now, you say, what is duty? Duty is something that the state, and when I'm talking about state, it's not about UP, MP, Punjab. I'm talking about Bharat or England, America, whatever the case may be. I'm talking about a country, a government of a country. If the government or state of a country prohibits certain actions, जो सरकार है, राज्य की हो, केंद्र की हो, स्टेट बीट सेंटर और स्टेट, वो अगर उन्होंने कुछ चीजें प्रोहिबिट की, they have prescribed don'ts. Now, not doing those things become your duty. And criminal law are such duties, if they are breached, अगर उन ड्यूटीज का पालन नहीं करते, द कॉन्सिक्वेंस इज इन फॉर्म ऑफ पनिशमेंट्स. पनिशमेंट मतलब जेल भेजा जाना. कॉर्पोरल पनिशमेंट्स. कॉर्पोरल पनिशमेंट मतलब द पनिशमेंट्स विच आर कैन बी रिलेटेड विथ बॉडीली हार्म. बॉडीली हार्म तो डेथ पेनल्टी, मर जाना किसी का, या किसी की जो मूवमेंट उसको रेस्ट्रिक्ट करके उसको जेल में डाल देना. दैट इज ऑल्सो कंसिडर्ड एज corporeal punishment. Now, if a particular person is punished, now obviously that compels him to correct his behavior, obviously. So the criminal law is a set of duties which is created by government. गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, आपको ड्यूटीज इंपोज की. यहाँ पे वो ड्यूटी क्या करने की है? वो ड्यूटी कुछ करने की नहीं है, वो ड्यूटीज कुछ नहीं करने की. एसेंशियली द ड्यूटी इज ऑफ नॉट टू डू समथिंग. और वो क्या नहीं करना है? जो आपको सरकार ने बताया भाई ये मत करना, किसी को मर्डर मत करना, किसी को चाकू मत मारना, किसी की प्रॉपर्टी ना लेना. बहुत सारे डोंट्स द गवर्नमेंट हैज प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. एंड इफ यू एक्चुअली डू दोस थिंग्स व्हिच आर प्रोहिबिटेड, in that case the government punishes you. And to simply explain criminal law, we can simply state इसके दो चार एंगल हैं. पहला एस्पेक्ट है क्रिमिनल लॉ का कि there are certain conducts, there are certain actions which are forbidden. Don'ts हैं, में do's नहीं है, don'ts हैं. ऐसा मत करना. And the people who do that act, उनको state यानी सरकार पनिश करती, and those people are punished. तो these two aspects are fundamental legs of criminal law. दो टांगे हैं, ये दो पैर हैं क्रिमिनल लॉ के. एक ऐसी चीजें जो सरकार ने मना की हैं और उनके करने पर पनिशमेंट हो, तो हम लोग उसको कहते हैं कि वो क्या है, क्रिमिनल लॉ का पार्ट. यू कैन आइडेंटिफाई अ क्रिमिनल लॉ simply by these two identifying features. These are two features which has to be identified. यानी कि क्या उस व्यक्ति ने वो काम किया जो सरकार ने मना किया था, और क्या उस काम के करने पर सरकार ने कोई पनिशमेंट प्रिस्क्राइब की है. अगर इसका आंसर यस है तो वो लॉ हमारे लिए क्रिमिनल लॉ. अब इसका दूसरा लेग देखिए, नीड ऑफ हैविंग क्रिमिनल लॉ. क्या काम है भाई क्रिमिनल लॉ? क्यों क्यों क्रिमिनल लॉ, क्यों हम पनिश कर रहे हैं किसी को? तो इसका सबसे फंडामेंटल एस्पेक्ट है व्हाई वी नीड क्रिमिनल लॉ। इसका एस्पेक्ट है कि इन आवर सोसाइटी, हम अपने समाज में, आवर फर्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट इज ऑब्वियसली आफ्टर biological requirements. There are some biological requirements. We need food, we need water, we need sleep, all those things, and we have a tendency to reproduce. All these things are obviously need of an animal as well. इंसान होने की पहली रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, which is required in a human, is sense of security. That is something that is fundamental to our existence. जैसे कि अभी आप ये वीडियो सुन रहे हैं, इफ सपोज समथिंग यू सी कि भाई बाहर गोली चल गई आपके घर के, देयर आर बुलेट फायर्ड आउटसाइड योर होम, will you be able to concentrate on this particular lecture? The answer is no. You'll immediately panic and you'll see what has happened. That is how humans behave. Our sense of security is very important to us. And if that sense of security is taken away, we cannot function. We cannot function in constant fear. We need stability, we need security to function. And criminal law essentially prohibits those actions which create a sense of insecurity and fear in society. क्रिमिनल लॉ में जो स्टेट चीजों को फॉरबिड करते हैं, जो हमारी बीएनएस है, भारतीय न्याय संहिता, देयर आर अदर लॉज एज वेल, essentially they prohibit those actions which create fear or insecurity in the society or are harmful to public at large. जिससे सबका नुकसान हो रहा है. जैसे कि सपोज कोई व्यक्ति ड्रग्स बेच रहा है, तो ड्रग्स से सबका नुकसान. Somebody is selling arms, illegal weapons, everybody is harmed in that. Okay, so and sense of insecurity भी create होती है. If suppose हम बाहर निकले और हम देख रहे हैं गन सड़क पे AK-47 बिक रहे हैं, तो obviously we'll be fearful कि भाई anybody can buy it and use it. So obviously criminal law का purpose क्या है? Why do we need criminal law? We need to eliminate that sense of insecurity. Okay, and that is why state prohibits action. सरकार ने जो मना कर रखी चीजें ना, भाई ये मत करना, ये मत करना, ये मत करना, सरकार ने उन चीजों को प्राइमरीली पनिश किया हुआ है, पनिशेबल क्राइम के डेफिनेशन में डाला हुआ है, जो they are firstly either they create sense of fear and insecurity in the society or they are harmful to public at large. That is why we need criminal law. That is the fundamental reason that we have criminal law. हमारे पास BNS है, 50 legislations है हमारे पास, सैकड़ों legislations है which are criminal in nature. अब इससे बच्चों एक न्यूएंस है. न्यूएंस मतलब एक विशेष बात है वो कि व्हाट इज क्राइम. इसका जनरल एट्रीब्यूट तो मैंने आपको बताया कि ऑब्वियसली दोज कंडक्ट विच आर हार्मफुल टू सोसाइटी एट लार्ज क्रिएट फियर एंड सिक्योरिटी, बट ऑब्जेक्टिवली इट डिपेंड्स ऑन दिस लॉ मेकिंग person or law making authority as well. What our parliament thinks is very important because it is very subjective. That is why there is no fundamental list of crime. Obviously some crimes are crime everywhere, but काफी सारी चीजें अलग अलग जगहों पे क्राइम होती है क्योंकि जो लॉ मेकर है उसकी थिंकिंग बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. जैसे कि हमारे देश में आर्म्स बैन है, अमेरिका में नहीं, पाकिस्तान में नहीं उस तरीके से शायद. जैसे कि हमारे इंडिया के अंदर में गुजरात में, बिहार में अल्कोहल बैन है, बाकी राज्यों में बैन नहीं. तो ऑब्वियसली डिफर्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ हु इज मेकिंग दैट लॉ. सो दैट इज वन एस्पेक्ट दैट वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. ओके, सो बेसिक नीड ऑफ क्रिमिनल लॉ इज टू क्रिएट अ सेंस ऑफ सिक्योरिटी इन सोसाइटी. नाउ अनदर एस्पेक्ट, अनदर लेवल इज क्रिमिनल लॉ फ्रॉम अदर ब्रांचेस ऑफ लॉ, हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट. डिफरेंट ये है कि क्रिमिनल लॉ का जो अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव है, ऑब्वियसली द अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ क्रिमिनल लॉ इज टू पनिश द परपिट्रेटर whosoever had caused the harm. जिसने भी क्राइम किया है उसे पनिश करना इज द अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ क्रिमिनल लॉ. एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड जो सिविल लॉ है, ऑब्वियसली यू हैव हर्ड दिस ड्युअलिटी ऑफ क्रिमिनल लॉ एंड सिविल लॉ. ना हमसे हमेशा पूछते हैं क्रिमिनल लॉ है या सिविल लॉ है. तो सिविल लॉ का जो प्राइमरी पर्पस है, द प्राइमरी पर्पस ऑफ क्रिमिनल सिविल लॉ इज टू रेमेडिफाई द पीपल हु हैव बीन रॉन्ग, यानी कि जिसके साथ बुरा हुआ है. सपोज somebody has done something wrong to me and I need that I should be compensated, I should be given some relief. मेरे साथ बुरा हुआ है, सपोज मेरी प्रॉपर्टी किसी ने ले ली और वो प्रॉपर्टी मुझे वापस चाहिए, तो दैट रेमेडी और दैट solution is provided under civil law. Civil law is more solution oriented law, while criminal law is more punishment oriented law. तो सॉल्यूशन या रेमेडी हमको सिविल लॉ में मिलेगी. अगर मेरे साथ सपोज किसी ने मेरी बुक ले ली और मुझे वो किताब वापस चाहिए, तो मैं सिविल लॉ में जाऊंगा. अब उस व्यक्ति को हो सकता है क्रिमिनल लॉ में पनिशमेंट हो जाए, तो बट क्रिमिनल लॉ में जब पनिशमेंट होती है उसका विक्टिम से लेना देना नहीं होता. Now, obviously, you might think, obviously, victim has a role to play. He has very limited role to play. To give you a simple example, suppose somebody stabbed me, and I say I don't want that person to be punished. मैं गांधी जी का फॉलोअर हूं, मैंने उसको क्षमा कर दिया. I have forgiven that person. Question is whether that person will be actually forgiven. The answer is no. Suppose I am killed. एक व्यक्ति है जिसका मर्डर हो जाता है, let's say. और तो who will go to the court, whether that person will be punished, who will actually want that person to be punished. Suppose nobody is bothered about that person. वो व्यक्ति जो था वो बिल्कुल ही he was not a person well liked. उसकी फैमिली ने कहा अच्छा हुआ मर गया, it's good that he has died, now everybody is happy. So the question is that even if nobody has a grievance, still the murderer will be punished or not. The answer is yes. The state will punish that person, and that person cannot say कि सर मेरी गलती तो नहीं है, मतलब मैंने उसको मर्डर किया, but nobody has a problem with it. States will say, सरकार कहेगी किसी को प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी, but मुझे प्रॉब्लम. State will have a problem because state ने उस पर ड्यूटी लगाई थी. State asked him not to kill anyone, but you killed. So state feels offended that I have forbidden something and you have done that. Now let's go, I'll punish you. तो एक सिविल लॉ का फोकस उस पे है जिसके साथ बुरा हुआ है, एंड क्रिमिनल लॉ या है punishment versus remedy is the primary source of distinction between civil law and criminal law. I hope that is clear. And the last very important thing in this is, in this particular heading is, there are the criminal law is of two types. There is substantive criminal law that is contained in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita that we have, and procedural law is contained under Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, BNSS, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, which was earlier called CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure, and the substantive law is contained under IPC. अब आप समझ सकते हैं substantive law and criminal law, substantive law and procedural law, are they different? Substantive law tells you what to do, what not to do. Any substantive law will have this feature that it will say do's and don'ts. Okay? अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि अगर किसी ने मर्डर कर दिया तो how that will be proved in the court? How that person will be processed in law? We do not have a jungle raj कि हमने किसी ने कहा इसने मर्डर किया तो उसको सीधा पकड़ करके will punish him. No. We'll have to follow a procedure to arrive at the guilt of that person. That person has to be proved guilty in the court of law. So the whole process is contained under procedural law. While what constitutes a crime is contained under substantive law. Substantive law बताता है क्या और procedural law बताता है कैसे. Obviously substantive law talks about what and how is dealt by procedural law. If we arrest someone, how to arrest someone, how to trial, appeal कैसे होती, everything is contained under procedural law. While substantive law will tell कि murder क्या होता है, theft क्या होता है. Although these things will be defined under, defining the rights and wrongs is the domain of substantive law, and bringing people to justice is the domain of procedural law. So I hope that particular distinction is also clear in your mind. We'll discuss some portion of procedural law as well in the last module, in the fifth module. Okay. Now let's come on to detailing the purpose of criminal law. So the criminal law has 6 primary purposes I have enumerated in the slide. First is obviously protection of human being from intentional harm. If somebody has committed intentional harm against me, somebody is hostile towards me, the government, the state has a duty to protect me from that hostility. अगर किसी की मुझसे शत्रुता है, कोई मुझे harm करना चाहता है intentionally, then the state has to protect me from that. Then we have protection of human being from unintentional harm. Sometimes the person might be negligent, and some person might not want me to be harmed, but their behavior is such that I can be harmed. जैसे कि जब when we had COVID wave, so every person was obligated to wear mask. Those who were not wearing masks were fined, sometimes confined to jail, and all those proceeding criminal. It was criminal to actually not wear a mask, because even if a person is not wearing mask, he might not want to actually harm people by spreading COVID, but his conduct is such that other person might be harmed, although he might not intend to do so. अगर मैं मास्क नहीं पहनता हूं तो दूसरे को नुकसान हो सकता है, ऑब्वियसली मैं चाहता नहीं नुकसान करना, पर हो सकता है, तो उससे भी प्रोटेक्ट करना क्रिमिनल लॉ का डोमेन. तो क्रिमिनल लॉ ऑल्सो मेक्स इट फॉरबिडन फॉर द पीपल टू बिहेव इन सच वे that will endanger other people and protect other people from unintentional harm. While I am making this video, there is a horrific accident in Dehradun where 7 people were going in a Innova car and they have met an accident and 6 of them have died. One is critical. So obviously they were speeding, and there are news reports that they were drunk. So if you are drunk and you are speeding, you are not putting only yourself in danger, you are putting everyone else. So although all the sympathies with those who have died, but nonetheless, it is, I believe this is fortunate that they rammed into a truck and not to another car or to a bike, who was any person who was driving a bike or a pedestrian. You see how important it is to protect people from unintentional harm. So that is also domain of criminal. That is why the traffic laws prohibit speeding, they prohibit alcohol, drink and drive. All those things, that is the purpose of criminal law. Third is protection of vulnerable individuals. Now, when we talk about vulnerability, we talk about women, we talk about children, we talk about elderly. That is why we have special laws for protecting them. Like we have POCSO, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. We have crime against women, because women are often considered as vulnerable part of a society. That is why sexual act against women is crime, but if somebody does similar act with a man, that is not that much punishable. It will be considered simple assault, but it can be considered a heinous crime if done against women. Children, women, other also we can talk about the people who are elderly. Obviously, we try to protect them from harm. What might not harm a 20-year-old person might harm a 6-year-old person. That is why we have laws to protect that. That's why child labor is an offense. Child labor is a crime. You cannot employ a child, a 6-year-old, 7-year-old at your commercial establishment. That is how important this is. Now, another objective of criminal law is defense of state. Here, state again does not mean provinces that we have, that UP, MP, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. No, state here, whenever I refer to state, I basically means government, establishment that we have. Sarkar jo hai hamari, chahe wo rajya ki ho, kendra, to the state. So protecting that state, protecting Bharat is also is purpose of criminal law. Criminal law in India obviously tries to protect Bharat. That is why treason is a crime. It means somebody acts against the interest of India, we punish them. We punish them harshly, because we cannot allow people to undermine the authority of Bharat. Bharat is the essence of our survival. Our state is the essence of our survival. Bharat se hum hai. So those people who will act as Kalidas and cutting the branch of the tree they are sitting on, we do not allow that to happen. That is why we protect the state. Fifth is protection of property. Obviously, we cannot allow the property to be harmed, be it private property, be it public property. because property has value. The effort has gone into creating that value. A building is constructed. If you destroy that building, if you take away my property from me, which I have earned or inherited or whatever the case may be, if that is my property and you have taken that, that's a crime, because the state has to protect my property. The government is under an obligation to protect my property because I have put an effort in earning, in creating that value, in creating that property. So the institution of property has to be protected. संपत्ति को बचाना पड़ेगा, वरना if the a man is nothing without the belongings. मैं एक मनुष्य हूं तो obviously I am not a monk. Even monks have possessions now. But you cannot live without having possessions, without having property. So that protecting is very important. Then protection of social institution and morality. That is also something that law intends to protect. Like there are offenses against marriage. Like in monogamous religion, जिसमें एक शादी कर सकते हैं, अगर वो व्यक्ति दूसरी शादी करता है उसको हम पनिश करते हैं, क्योंकि marriage is a very useful institution to us. It's an institution worth protecting. That is why we protect marriage. We protect other societies as well. We protect morality in the sense that we don't allow people to roam naked on the street. हम लोग अगर समाज में नंगे चल रहा है कोई व्यक्ति, अगर कोई नंगा चल रहा है, तो उससे one can argue that what harm he has committed, what harm he has done. He's roaming around naked, so what harm you have suffered? Obviously, we cannot allow that to happen, because the moral notion of society should not be affected adversely. If somebody uses defamatory language against religions, now religion is also a social institution that we intend to protect. तो अगर कोई जो है ऐसी ब्लास्फेमस बातें कहता है, ऐसी भड़काऊ बातें कहता है धर्म के बारे में, सोसाइटी कंसिडर्स इट एज क्राइम. हम उसको प्रोहिबिट करते हैं, उसको पनिश करते हैं, बिकॉज रिलीजन इज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन दैट वी इंटेंड टू प्रोटेक्ट. सिमिलरली अपनी मोरालिटी को और सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशन को वी ट्राई टू प्रोटेक्ट. बट मोरालिटी व्हेन I talk about, the Supreme Court in multiple cases has stated that the morality that we are talking about is not general morality. We are talking about constitutional morality. Constitutional morality ka is bit more liberal. Like in Navtej Singh Johar. Navtej Singh Johar, the Union of India, is a very important judgment which decriminalized 377 section of IPC. Means it decriminalized consensual sexual relationship between adults. दो अडल्ट के बीच में अगर सहमति से किसी तरह का संबंध है, दैट इज नॉट अ क्राइम, बी इट अ होमोसेक्सुअल रिलेशनशिप और हेटेरोसेक्सुअल रिलेशनशिप. But obviously our societal popular morality, general morality is against that. But Supreme Court stated that we are not concerned about general morality, what generally people think. We see the morality from the prism of constitution. हमारा संविधान के हिसाब से हम देखेंगे. संविधान is what? It balances the morality of individual and morality of general public. So we also try to protect individuals from the societal morality. भाई सोसाइटी ने बहुत सारी चीजें कह रखे हैं इमोरल है, लेकिन हम देखते हैं कि संविधान क्या अलाउ करता है, क्या नहीं अलाउ करता. That morality is very important, and that brings us to our next topic, that criminal law and morality. Sometimes people exchange that illegal and immoral. Now both are different. Morality is what we can consider as it is something that people think as right, and obviously morality is very subjective. जो मेरे लिए immoral हो सकता है वो आपके लिए immoral ना, जो आपके लिए immoral हो मेरे लिए immoral ना. तो because it is very subjective, we cannot consider it equal to law. हम इसको law के बराबर नहीं मानते. अगर हम criminal law की बात करते हैं, we are obviously talking about laws written by the parliament. हमको पता है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी या संसद जो है जनरल बातें नहीं कर सकती, और वो लॉ नहीं हमारे लिए. एवरीथिंग दैट इज सेड इन द पार्लियामेंट इज नॉट लॉ फॉर अस. In order to be a law, it will have to be passed in written and then notified in the official gazette. राजपत्र में उसको छापते हैं, so that it becomes a law. That's so that making of a law is something very tricky. That is why we differentiate morality. Morality स्थान पे व्यक्ति के हिसाब से, समाज के हिसाब से different is different. That is why we generally try to disassociate morality with criminal law. So there are acts which are both immoral and criminal. Like, I'll tell you, like the simple murder, rape, theft is both immoral and criminal. It's moral wrong as well as criminal wrong. We try to punish that also. And everybody, every person, everywhere in the world will say that certain things are immoral. But there are acts which are immoral but not criminal. To give you an example, I can give you several, but to give an example, if a person is not very courteous towards their parents, अगर कोई व्यक्ति अपने माता पिता का सम्मान नहीं करता तो हम कहेंगे कैसी नालायक संतान है वो. So that's immoral. It's very problematic. Society will not accept it, will not consider that person as a good person if he is not very courteous towards his parents. But that's not criminal. Being religious, being irreligious, atheistic person, अगर मैं आज कह दूं अपने परिवार में कि I don't believe in God, so people will say that person is very problematic, but it's not criminal. There are certain acts, there are certain things which are very, very immoral, but still not crime, like incest. Having sexual relationship with your close relatives is considered an extremely immoral act, but still it is not criminal. Nobody will punish that. We do not have a law to punish that, but nonetheless, it's highly immoral. So criminal law and morality, they work differently. Similarly, there are acts criminal but not immoral. जैसे कि suppose a person is dying of hunger and I steal a loaf of bread and give it to that person so that that person will live. Now, people will say what a saintly act, but nonetheless it is criminal. Now, people, you all must have heard the name Robin Hood. Robin Hood means अमीरों को लूट लिया और गरीबों में बांट दिया. Now, person might be very good, very moral, very good, but nonetheless that's criminal. So the act might be moral. It's not immoral, but nonetheless criminal. Suppose that I find a terrorist, and I kill that person straight away. If not in self-defense, I see that there is a criminal, there is a terrorist, and I straight away kill that person, I'll still be punished. Even though by killing that criminal, I have done a favor to the society. But nonetheless, law will say he was not yours to kill. Who gave authority to kill that person? The law should have taken its course. आप उसको ऐसे नहीं मार सकते. सपोज पुलिस की कस्टडी में किसी को गोली मार दी जाती है तो हम तो कहते हैं यार बड़ा अच्छा किया, बहुत बढ़िया किया, but still it is criminal if it is proved against those police personnel that they killed a person in custody. That is a crime. So criminal and morality, they work a bit separately. You should not confuse them. Okay. Now, obviously, another subject that you must be learning simultaneously is law of torts. Tort and criminal law, they are both very much related. They have many similarities because tort is a civil wrong and it is also public wrong. It is also about duties generally imposed by law. They are both public wrong. Criminal law is also public wrong and tort is also public wrong. But how they are different? Criminal law focuses on punishment while tort focuses on remedy. So the whole idea of remedy versus punishment is something that is different in criminal law and torts. Although both are public wrongs in the sense that in both the obligation of not doing something is imposed on general public. And everybody is under an obligation not to commit a crime and everybody is under an obligation to not to commit torts. That is why these are called public wrongs. Public wrongs and private wrongs are separate because the obligation is on everyone. Like defamation. Suppose I have a right not to be defamed. Now everybody is under an obligation not to defame me. If anyone defames me, I can go to the court and say that XYZ person has defamed me. I want compensation. On the other hand, private wrongs like suppose I have a wife and I have to give my wife money. I have to maintain my wife. Now, obviously, my duty is only towards my wife. Now, my wife can file a case for maintenance only against me. She cannot file it against general public because only I have an obligation to maintain her. So that is a private wrong. So that is how it is different. Okay. So the first different distinguishing point between criminal law and torts is remedy versus punishment. A case of tort will be filed for remedy, and a criminal law case is instituted for punishment. Similarly, parties. in torts, both the parties are private individuals. One who is going to the court is a private person, and against whom you are going is also a private person. On the other hand, one party in a crime is always state. That is why every criminal law you will find the other party to be state. State of Madhya Pradesh, state of Uttar Pradesh, state of Telangana, state of Tamil Nadu, whatever the case may be. If you say versus state, you can think that the criminal law matter. It is generally the case. Also, constitutional law cases are also versus state, but क्रिमिनल लॉ में वन पार्टी इज ऑलवेज स्टेट. एक साइड से सरकार लड़ती है आपके खिलाफ. सपोज मैंने कोई क्राइम किया, सपोज मैंने आपका पर्स चुराया, तो केस मिस्टर आपका अगर नाम XYZ है तो XYZ वर्सेस अनिमेश नहीं होगा. केस का नाम होगा, बिकॉज आई एम सिटिंग हियर इन मध्य प्रदेश, स्टेट ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश इज अनिमेश. That is the difference. State will come against me. That is why we have a public prosecutor. Public prosecutor यानी who is representing state. राज्य को represent करता है. On the other hand, in tort law, both the parties are privately fighting with private lawyers and everyone. Codification level. In criminal law, we have perfectly codified statutory laws. Statutory मतलब लिखे हुए laws. Tort on the other hand is uncodified. Uncodified मतलब tort is a law based on judicial precedent. धीमे धीमे डेवलप हुआ ओवर द टाइम. अंग्रेजों ने डेवलप किया है. It has been developed over a period of time in common law courts. It's British made law that we are following, and it is common law. Court means not has been written down particularly. There are precedents. पिछले judgment से tort निकल के आता है. While the criminal law is a statutory law, means if it is not written, it's not a crime. So it has to be written. That's a very interesting difference between criminal law and torts. Although many things about it will also be dealt by lectures related to law of torts, which I'm sure you must be simultaneously getting. So the last topic today is brief history of criminal law. Now in Bharat, we had ancient Indian criminal law, which is based on the principle of danda and praishchita. There are some crimes for which we allowed punishment to be there. Punishment like treason. Treason was a crime for which there was death penalty, or there was a punishment of what we call desh nikala. We has to be transportation for life. We used to ask that person to leave the territory. But at the same time, a very important aspect of our punishment system, our criminal law, was praishchita. Praishchita means penance. आप जो है, you do community service, you take penance, you starve yourself, you live in uncomfortable situations so as to cleanse your spirit from that crime that you have committed. So danda and praishchita were essential attributes. The ancient Indian criminal law was called Kantak Shodhan. Obviously, the morality aspect was very influential. What was immoral was criminal. Then came colonial criminal law first. The invaders came, the Islamic invaders came, and they imposed Shariat. That is Islamic criminal code, which is very strict and brutal. Although the evidence part of it is very, very bizarre, but the punishment of cutting off hands, giving death penalty, stoning people to death. So the Arabic criminal law, Shariat criminal law was there. But after Britishers came, they applied their own criminal law, which in a sense we are still following today. Their punishment of imprisonment came with Britishers, and we followed colonial criminal law. 1860, the Indian Penal Code was enacted after the first Law Commission report by Macaulay. In 1835, the first Law Commission gave its report, and 1860, finally the IPC, Indian Penal Code, was enacted, which was effective till a few months back. On 1st July, we have Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Now, it has made some very important changes from IPC, but we are in a spirit of decolonization. We are trying to simply move away from colonial legislation and move towards more Indianized approach we are taking. That is why we have repealed all 3 criminal laws. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita we have enacted. We have enacted Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam. At least we have given them criminal names to begin, Indian names to begin with. It's not colonial law in that respect, but we have made some very substantial change. which we'll also discuss in course of our lecture. Okay. So this is brief history of criminal law. You don't need to be very thorough about the history of the same. Just understand there are few changes, but largely 70-80% of the content is very much same from the laws that we have repealed. Okay. So I hope I was clear in my discussion. Thank you so much. Keep learning. In the next lecture, we'll learn about crime and punishment, which is again it's a theoretical part, but it's a very important part and very interesting part. We'll learn about crime and punishment. I hope this was fruitful for you. If you have any specific query, you can reach me at animesh@mpdnlu.ac.in, MPDNLU, Madhya Pradesh Dharmashastra National Law University .ac.in, and my name is Animesh. So animesh@mpdnlu.ac.in. Send me a mail and we'll get in touch. If you have any queries, I'll be more than happy to help. And keep learning, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.